And welcome back to Sports on Tap. We're live from Z's Cream and Bean in Hinckley. I'm Rob Trump. We have Josh Jeffy, Ed Dick, and Sean Duffy is out on assignment tonight. But I want to welcome everyone, and thanks for listening to our Week 6 recap of high school football here on Mixlr. And also, we're part of NEOSportsinsiders.com. We're going to recap our Week 6 games of the week here right now, and we're going to first start with Aurora as they head to Barberton. And Barberton has been rolling really all year, it seems like. Aurora is always a solid, consistently good team, but this year, it seems like they're struggling a little bit, Ed. What do you see so far with Aurora this year?
Well, Aurora, I mean, not that they haven't already done this, but they had a very, very tough preseason, or I'm sorry, non-conference schedule. You take it on the likes of Solon and Twinsburg. Some of the teams that are traditionally very good. It's tough for them. It was tough for them to get some momentum, and they started out in conference play 2-0, and you're running into a team like Barberton who's just steamrolling everybody. And, it's going to take a very special effort on behalf of Aurora, and we know they have it in them. But Aurora's A game right now cannot beat the A game of Barberton at this point. And, unfortunately for Aurora, Barberton brought their A game. And it certainly showed in the first quarter, in the first half when, Aurora, Barberton was able to get off to a pretty hot start there. Quarterback Zane Reese had an 82-yard touchdown to start the scoring for Barberton. And they were driving again. They were driving further before Reese got strip sacked. But Aurora couldn't take advantage of it. Aurora's defense held tough. They were able to hold off Key Thompson and Garrett Turnbull from really turning it on in the second quarter. But Barberton's defensive unit was able to dominate on offense, and that was the major difference here. They got a pick six from linebacker Malcolm Boyd, and Barberton was able to go up 14-0 to start. At the half, Aurora just couldn't get anything going offensively against that tough Barberton defense, and the more Barberton's defense thrives, that just gives their offense that much more confidence as the game goes on. Barberton got the ball, and they were able to open it up. They had an 80-yard touchdown drive that was punctuated by a 14-yard touchdown pass from Zane Reese to Garrett Turnbull, giving Barberton a 21-0 lead to end the third quarter. Aurora threatened deep in Magic territory in the fourth, but Turnbull did it on the defensive end. He got an interception. He intercepted Aurora, and then he turned around on offense and caught another touchdown pass from Zane Reese. This was from 27 yards out. Barberton's lead was up to 27-0. Barberton was even able to trigger the running clock against Aurora, which is something you don't really think Aurora and running clock very often. But Barberton was able to do it. Jeff Parker, running back for the Magics, added another touchdown, which got the lead to 34-0. Late in the fourth quarter, Drew McVeigh got on the board for Aurora with a 65-yard touchdown run. That cut the lead to 34-7, but that was as close as they could get. Barberton remains undefeated. They are 6-0 overall, and they are 3-0 in the Suburban League American Division. And right now, them and Highland right now have basically, and Talmadge, they have a stranglehold on the top of the division right now, and Aurora right now is searching for some answers. Aurora falls to 2-4 overall. They are 1-1 in the conference. Aurora will travel to Highland in Week 7. Barberton 6-0, 3-0 in the conference. They're going to actually go out of conference. They're going to host a very, very tough St. Vincent St. Mary team.
Wow. That's a big
Week
game.
7.
That's a big game.
It's a huge game. There are a lot of computer points online there for sure. Mm-hmm. St. Vincent St. Mary is one of the premier Division III teams right now. They reside in the same division as Aurora, Canfield, Highland, Talmadge. They're all Division III, Region 9 right there. So a lot of points on the board for Barberton and St. Vincent St. Mary next week in Week 7.
You mean Buckeye. Highland's Division II, Region 6.
No, did I say Highland?
Yeah,
you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. Correct. I meant Buckeye. My bad.
No,
yes.
That's okay.
Yep. Yeah. So and which we'll get the Buckeye here shortly. Player of the game is going to be Garrett Turnbull. He had 2 touchdown receptions and a drive-stopping interception. So congratulations to our wide receiver, defensive back Garrett Turnbull for the for getting player of the game. And we'll see if Barberton can keep their. This is a really bad pun. Keep their magic going against
nice
against St. Vincent St. Mary in Week 7. Aurora has a very, very tough game in Week 7 against Highland. We'll talk about that game here in a little bit as well. So a great job by Sean Duffy going out to Barberton on his own.
Yeah,
and he did a great job covering this game. And unfortunately for both this game and the game that we got to see, the game was taken over pretty early by the away team. North Royalton was able to hang in with Hudson for a little bit before they ultimately got taken over.
Yeah, give credit to Barberton, really jumping on Aurora and not letting up in this game right when, it was close for a little while. And, they came out in the third quarter and made a statement. So congratulations to them on their, again, successful season so far. It's not over yet, but great game and a great job, again, by Sean to write that and go out there. And thanks to Barberton for all their hospitality every time we go out there.
Absolutely. Well, let's shift over to the other game of the week. We had a very, very Suburban League focus this week. So we had one of the best. We had a matchup in the Suburban League American Division. And we had a matchup in the Suburban League National Division. Fresh off a thrilling comeback victory over Twinsburg, the upstart North Royalton Bears. They are 3-2 overall, 1-1 in the Suburban League National Division. They played host to the perennial powerhouse, the Hudson Explorers. They were 4-1 coming into this game overall, 2-0 in the conference. Both teams exchanged 3 and outs to start the game. Hudson took over on their own 10-yard line, going into what was a very strong win.
Strong win.
You guys were on the field. The win was decidedly going one way.
Yes, it was definitely coming in from the north, and that played a pretty big part in the game. A little bit later, we'll talk about that.
Absolutely. So Hudson had Hudson had the ball, and they had to go into the win at first. In their first drive, couldn't get a whole lot going on the ground. So Colt Play, quarterback for Hudson, wasted no time. He promptly had a 5-play, 90-yard drive into the win, ending with a 14-yard touchdown pass to tight end Brandon Lau. Play covered all but 8 yards through the air. He had 4 big plays on this drive to quickly get the Explorers down the field and into the end zone. All-Ohio place kicker Grant Gagne had a rare extra point miss. The Explorers led 6-0. On the next drive, Hudson defensive back Anthony Reitnauer intercepted an attempted throwaway from Bears quarterback Joey Marisick under heavy pressure from the Explorers pass rush. Unfortunately, Marisick was also flagged for an unsportsmanlike penalty on that play, giving Hudson a short field going into the win. 7 plays later, Play called his own number. He scrambled for a 10-yard touchdown run and a 13-0 Hudson lead. North Royalton countered with a 7-play drive covering 66 yards and 3 minutes. Marisick spun out of would-be tacklers and found the end zone to cut the Hudson lead to 13-7 at the end of the first quarter. Unfortunately, the turning point of this game coincided with the Explorers having to win at their back in the second quarter. Grant Gagne, he atoned for his missed extra point by drilling a 47-yard field goal.
A lot of leg, a lot of help from the wind. This is what we mentioned before. The wind really helped them, and they did. It did for that particular field goal.
Absolutely, and it gave the Explorers a 16-7 lead. This was where the game really turned here because Hudson's defense just turned it up. They forced 3 straight 3-and-outs. They limited the Bears to no yards of total offense, and they set up the offense with excellent field position. The Bears had to punt from deep inside their own territory into the wind.
Right.
So Hudson didn't have to start. They were inside the 50 or just right around the 50 for 3 straight drives, and Pelé took immediate advantage of that. He found Colin Paltani, caught a touchdown for 33 yards, and then wide receiver Greg Maley caught 2 touchdowns covering 45 and 15 yards. On the touchdown that Paltani had, he actually broke through about 3 tackles. Like, he was initially bottled up at like the 10 or the 15-yard line. spun loose in the middle of the field and was able to guide his way to the sideline and tiptoe his way into the end zone. And in just a span of 7 minutes, Hudson quickly expanded their lead to 37-7, heading into the half, and then triggering a running clock to start the third quarter. So you really got to see Hudson's defense work and how their offense complemented it right away there.
Yeah, I thought Hudson again. They're just dominant in this game. When North Royalton had some things going for them, the defense I thought stepped up and did a nice job. But Hudson just has so many playmakers on their team. When you look at Hudson's offense, Pelé did such a great job. When you thought you had him bottled up, he just knew when the pocket was collapsing. He'd bounce out. He'd make a nice pass, or he'd run the football. He didn't have to run too much. And the nice thing for Pelé is his offensive line really did a great job protecting him. I don't know if he even got hit in the game. North Royalton would get close, force pressure, but he always seemed to know when to bounce out and make the pass. So he did a great job.
Yeah, I had a chance after the game to talk to Hudson head coach Jeff Goff, and I asked him the question about what his team did in that first half to really establish, the game and dominance. So here's his response.
I think you saw a bunch of guys coming out and have fun. Really our offense got after it, threw the ball deep, and we were able to run the ball. Our offensive line took a big step forward in that. And then defensively, I give a lot of credit to our defensive coaches. We had a pretty elaborate game plan. The guys came out and executed. I thought they were better. So,
yeah, your quarterback, Colt Pelé, had 5 touchdowns tonight. He was really dominant in that first half with long plays. Just talk about what him and the offensive line go a little further of what they did to actually really execute the goal.
Yeah, we had some excellent receivers, and they stuck to kind of the coverages they've been running. So, we had all week said, hey, guys, you got to recognize if you're open, you got to trust in the route and trust that Cole will get you the ball. And, I think we left a couple out there that we talked about. Yeah. But Cole did an excellent job of keeping the play alive. And I think he was upright most of the night. I don't think he went down. So, it's just a full team effort.
Yeah, and I want to thank the band for playing during our interview. They did a great job.
That happens to us
every time, I think.
Yeah, it happens to us every time, but that's okay. That's all part of the plan. But like Hudson, how they prevailed in this game, we prevailed during these interviews, and you can see that interview along with our interview with Hudson quarterback Colt Pelé on our YouTube page and our website, sportsontappodcast.com, along with. This one's not on NEOSportsInsiders.com this week. They actually.
Well, the video was. I put the video up there, but yeah.
Yeah. So.
Great job.
Yeah, the thing with Hudson too. They were able to really limit. North Royalton, Zach Antonio, and Miles Sternad in the passing game. You didn't really get. The North Royalton tried to get Antonio on track there a little bit, but Hudson's defense was swarming. He didn't find a whole lot of running room there. Just due to the big lead, Jeff Goff gave Pelé and his first team offense the rest of the night off. The backup quarterback Liam Brennan found Zachary Palmer on a 3rd and 4 for a 46-yard touchdown pass and a 44-14 lead. North Royalton got a couple of late touchdowns. Marisick hit wide receiver Adam Barrett for a 19-yard touchdown, then later found Miles Sternad for another touchdown. And it led to the final score, 44-21. Colt Pelé completed 12 of 14 passes for 258 yards and 4 touchdowns. He rushed 3 times for 22 yards and a touchdown. He is undoubtedly the player of the game for this specific game.
And that was all in the first half. Did you mention that?
This was all in the first half.
That's crazy.
Same with Greg Maley catching 3 passes for 71 yards and 2 touchdowns. North Royalton quarterback Jory Marisick, he was a sophomore, completed 11 of 23 passing for 160 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He also rushed for a touchdown.
Which was a very good run, nice spin move, and dove towards the pylon. Very good run for him.
And I think you just have to take this, if you're North Royalton, they're a young team, you have to just take this game, learn from it, and move on. And I think they'll get that experience. Only a sophomore, they got a lot of playing time left. So good game by Hudson, though. They did what they had to do.
Absolutely. So quickly, Hudson, 5-1 overall. They are 3-0 in the conference. They're going to host Cuyahoga Falls in Week 7. North Royalton drops to 3-3 overall, 1-2 in the conference. They're going to host Wadsworth.